Welcome to this presentation showing the main new features in version 2 of Jing. This is mainly aimed at people who've already been using Jing, the version 1, just to introduce you to the new features. If you are completely new to Jing, you're probably better off starting by going to the website www.jingselfcare.com to get an overview of the way Jing works in general, and then perhaps coming back to this to update on the new features. So the first new feature, as you'll see here, is that we now have a web interface. This is something that lots of people have been asking for. Not that the mobile app isn't useful, but it's can be fiddly, especially sort of entering new patient details and so forth. So we decided to develop a brand new interface. This is available for practitioners and patients, so we'll show you both of those as we go on. So the whole of this presentation will be in the web interface, but all of the features you'll see here are available in the mobile app as well. So first of all, you'll notice if we go to browse patient content, there is new content available. So for example, if we click on acupressure and moxa, there's now a moxa section. So this demonstrates moxa self-treatment, and we've tried to emphasize the safety aspects here. So it's a full run through of how to perform moxibustion at home for patients. Of course, you could combine that with acupressure points so that the patients can locate them correctly, and there are several more acupressure points available now in version 2. So for example, if we look at the stomach channel points, there's now a few more, and altogether there are 36 extra points from version 1, and we will hopefully add more over time as well. We also have some new Qigong material. We have Qigong for the lungs now. So a 3-part video on Qigong for breathing and the lungs. And there are new recipes on the way as well, so look out for those. We've also tried to make the process of onboarding new patients a little bit easier. So we'll walk you through that now. So if I go to my patient list, currently there are no patients in here, so I'm going to add a new one now. So if I click add new patient, and I'm just going to do a generic patient here. So I tick to confirm that I've got the patient's permission, then I send the invitation. So then it turns up as a pending patient in my list here. So I can now go ahead and add some material. So I'll just do that quickly. So I'm just going to give them a self-massage routine. I will send them the moxa material and a point as well. And I'm asked whether I want to add the introduction to acupressure. So we've added a few things like this just to help create good programs. So I'll put that in as well, yes. And then under the food menu, I'll give them, let's say we want to give them the Qi building recipes. And I'll also give them the TCM guide on Qi deficiency. So let's save all of that and submit the changes. So that means that when this patient comes to see their invitation email, the program will already be set up for them, ready. So when they log in, it should all be there. So now if I go to the inbox of this patient and I open the email, all of your business branding will show up in the email, so it'll look nice and professional. gives them the links to download the app and explains how to get on board. But there's no code now. We used to have a code that the patient had to enter. We've got rid of that to simplify things because that caused a few problems at times. I'll show you what it's like from the patient's point of view now. So they would be taken to this sign up page. Very similar in the mobile app as well. So that all they do is put their name in and they set a password and sign up. You'll notice also there's social media sign up options below, which makes it even easier. Just to say that the email address that you invite the patient with has to match the email that they've set the social media account up with for it to work properly. But if they try to go ahead and the account is set up with a different email, it will give them a message saying that it's not compatible, so they'll need to use the standard sign up method above instead. So I'll go ahead and click sign up. So just a few options here which they can choose from. You'll notice that they have the option to allow the practitioners to see progress and to receive reminders as well as staying logged in. So I'll go ahead and leave all of those ticked. And there we are. So very easy to get into the website, and the same in the app. You'll see that the branding's up here at the top. Nice little welcome message. And then I can scroll down and I can see the program. So you'll notice another change here is that we now have a duration for the program. So we felt that making it a finite duration just gives a little bit more focus to the patient, makes it less overwhelming if it's just kind of ongoing. So you can change this in the practitioner side of things. You can make it however many days you like, and you can also adjust how many times per day you want them to be doing their various bits of material. So yeah, so if I click on one of these, it shows me the material, and then once I've viewed it I can tick it off as done. I just tick here and you'll notice I get a nice congratulations because we've also added achievement badges. So for example, doing the very first piece of material, they get a badge, self-care starter, and then back on their home page they can look under their achievements and see that they've ticked this one off, and then they can hopefully a little bit more motivation to carry on and do their routines to get some more of these achievements. We've tried to organize things a bit better so that it looks nice and neat for the patient. So all of these sections you can swivel up and down, so you don't just have a huge amount of material all at once. So I can open this and see what's in here, and it tells me how much I have left to do on that day. And then in the food section, for example, we now have a folder essentially for the recipes, so they don't just all appear all at once. They can open up the recipes and look at those at their leisure. You'll also see that there's now a Practitioner Info tab on the left here. So if the patient taps on that, they'll be shown biography, link to the website, and a picture of the practitioner. So that's a nice little bit of extra branding for you as a practitioner, and that's all editable from inside the Practitioner app. Back to the Practitioner app again now. Another new feature, if I go to add edit patients, is that if you have a batch of patients that you want to import, you can do that now easily with a spreadsheet. So it explains here, if you click on the little information button here, it tells you you can download a template for the Excel sheet and export perhaps from whatever software you use to manage your patients, and then complete the Excel form, and then you can import it by clicking here, Excel upload. Prepared a form here, so it just takes a few moments, and here you see all of these made up patients are now imported into the system, and then I can go through and set a program up for each of them. There's also the patient archive section, which has changed slightly. So as before, we can, if a patient has moved on or no longer uses the app, you can send them to the archive. So if I click on this patient, send them to the archive, yes, they'll then be out of the way of your main view to keep things current. If I then jump into the archive, they'll be there, so if they come back or decide to keep using the app, we can just bring them back and unarchive them. Now, a new feature is that we now have settings for the archive. So as you can see, you can set up how long you want it for patients to be automatically archived. So at the moment, the way this is set up, after 1 month, if there's been no activity from the patient, then they'll automatically go to the archive. And then after a year, they'll actually be deleted completely from the system. So that means, first of all, it protects user data, but also it means that your view in the add and edit patients view keeps nice and manageable without having lots of redundant patients in there. Now I'm just going to jump into the profile settings because there's some changes in there too. So as we said before, you can add all your information here, including a biography, but you can also preview things from here as well now. So at least gives you an idea of what the app might look like from the patient's point of view. So I can jump to preview patient app branding, and here we are. So it shows you what the branding looks like at the top, more or less. Obviously it will vary depending on the device the patient is using and the dimensions of the screen, but it gives you an idea. So that means you can experiment with your branding until you're happy with it. Another new feature, if we go back to the dashboard and add edit patients, and if I jump into one of these patients programs, there's the option now to add a personal note. So there's the generic note that everybody gets that you can change in the profile settings, but if you want to say something specific to a patient about the material you've given them or anything about how you want them to use the material, you can click here. When that's saved, it'll appear in the patient view. So as I mentioned earlier, patients can now request more material if they want to, and if you've ticked the box that allows them to do that. So here, for example, this patient's got material in the self-massage, the acupressure and moxa, and the food sections, but not Qigong and meditation. So if they were interested, for example, in Qigong, they might notice it here and click on it, and it'll say, your practitioner hasn't added any material to this section, would you like to request some? And if they click yes, that sends a request. You'll get a notification on your end in the Practitioner app, and then you can give them some Qigong to try. And in the patient app here it says waiting for approval, so they will also receive a notification when you update their program with that new material.